Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Zachary, and if you had asked me a year ago, I would have said without hesitation that I was happily married. I honestly believed she was the kind of partner I would grow old with. I trusted her with my entire heart, not just because of the years we had behind us, but because she never gave me a single reason not to. We were married for 6 years, and before that, we dated for 3. Nearly 10 years of my life was tied to one person. I thought we were in it for life. So, imagine waking up one day to the gut-wrenching reality that the person you loved most went away for a wedding, and somewhere between the vows and the dance floor, she gave herself to another man, then came back and passed an STD to me. It shattered me completely. I couldn't even comprehend it. And in that moment, I knew there was nothing left worth saving in this marriage. When I first met Ruth, the woman who later became my wife, she stole my heart instantly. She was caring, attentive, and always present. When you find someone who brings you peace, you don't question it. You cling to it. We dated for 3 years before marrying, and during that time, I never once doubted her loyalty. She wasn't just my girlfriend. She was my best friend. We shared everything. She often talked about wanting a big family. 3, maybe 4 kids. I wanted the same. So when we got married, I was convinced we were building something unshakable. 6 years into that marriage, my love for her hadn't faded. It had deepened, because real love grows when you weather storms together. And we had our struggles, the biggest being our fight to have children. Shortly after marrying, we started trying right away. But Ruth suffered 2 back-to-back miscarriages. Doctors told us to pause and let her body heal. It was emotionally crushing. We grieved for lives that never had the chance to exist. Still, I held her close and told her, "We'll be okay. We'll get through this." From the outside, our marriage probably looked fine. Nobody walks into marriage expecting betrayal from the person they trust most. I certainly didn't. Ruth was the last person I ever thought would lie to me, let alone cheat. But life throws you into storms you never asked for. And sometimes, people you think you know best hide sides of themselves you couldn't imagine. One evening, Ruth received an invitation to a close friend's wedding. It was a destination event that turned into a weekend trip. She was excited, talking about how nice it would be to see friends again, how refreshing it would be to take a break. But the flights, hotels, and travel costs didn't make sense for both of us at the time. Work deadlines had me tied down, and money was tight. So I told her to go without me. I thought it was a kind gesture, her friend's big day. I wanted her to enjoy it. I even drove her to the airport myself, stayed with her through check-in, and waved as she disappeared around the corner. I had absolutely no reason to feel uneasy. While she was gone, work kept me busy and helped me ignore the empty house. When she came back, I was waiting at arrivals. She looked happy, talked about how beautiful the wedding was, and I was glad she'd enjoyed it. That night, we ate dinner, talked, cuddled, watched TV, and even made love before she drifted off of my arms. Everything felt normal. If anyone had asked me if I trusted her, my answer would have been yes, without hesitation. But 3 weeks later, I started feeling sick. At first, I thought I was just overworked or dehydrated, but it kept getting worse. Eventually, I went to the doctor. After tests, the doctor told me I had an STD. I laughed in disbelief, insisting it was impossible. I told him I had only ever been with my wife. But the doctor simply said something that stuck with me. Sometimes, people aren't as honest as we believe. That hit me hard, but I still fought the idea. I got tested again at another clinic, in another part of town. Same result, positive. This time, I couldn't deny it anymore. Still, I wasn't ready to confront Ruth without proof. So I watched quietly, waiting. When I finally got into her phone, I found nothing. No texts, no calls, no photos. Either she had covered her tracks, or she hadn't used her phone at all. My frustration grew. Then, one evening, while tidying up, I went into her bag and found a small prescription bottle with her name on it. I didn't recognize the medication, so I looked it up. My stomach dropped. It was antibiotics used to treat an STD. That was the undeniable proof I didn't want but could no longer ignore. I called her into the room, held up the bottle, and asked, "How did you get an STD?" She tried to play confused, then claimed it was for a friend. Her excuse was insulting. I told her straight. We were both getting tested. That's when she froze. I told her I'd already been tested twice, and both came back positive. Her face went pale. Tears followed. She begged, said she was sorry, claimed it was a mistake, that it happened at the wedding with an old college friend after too much drinking. But all I could think about was how I had kissed her, held her, made love to her after she came home, while she already knew. In that moment, whatever love I had was buried under disgust, betrayal, and humiliation. I walked out, leaving her crying in the bedroom. From that night on, I moved into the guest room. Ruth kept trying, making dinner, apologizing, saying she was drunk and it was just a mistake. But I couldn't shake the truth. She only confessed because I confronted her. If I hadn't found that pill bottle, would she have ever told me? That thought haunted me. After a week of silence and sleepless nights, I filed for divorce without warning. We had no children, so there was nothing binding us. She made her choice. Now I made mine. When she was served the papers, she broke down, begging me not to go through with it. I told her calmly it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. She only confessed when cornered. That's not love. That's deceit. I told her she had to move out. The house was under my mother's name, and she had no claim to it. She didn't take it well and tried fighting in court. But my lawyer presented the evidence, medical records, timelines. The judge ordered her to vacate. I thought it was nearly over, but then Ruth came back with a shocking claim. She was 16 weeks pregnant and insisted the baby was mine. My stomach sank. Could it be possible? Yes, we'd been intimate before I found out about the affair. But after everything, I couldn't trust her word. The court required paternity tests after the birth before finalizing the divorce. Those months were torture. I kept asking myself, what if it was mine? Would I be bound to her forever? When the baby was born, I wasted no time getting the test. The results proved the child wasn't mine. Relief washed over me like I'd been holding my breath for months. It confirmed everything. I had dodged a devastating fate. But I still needed to know who she threw our marriage away for. I dug through old yearbooks, social media, tagged photos. Eventually, I found him. The man she slept with wasn't just an old friend. He was married. She had betrayed me with another woman's husband. I debated whether to reach out. But I knew if I were in that wife's shoes, I'd want to know. So I messaged her respectfully, explained what happened, even attached parts of the court documents to prove it. Then I left it at that. I didn't wait for a response, didn't stalk her profile. I had no need for further closure. When the divorce was finalized, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The greatest relief of all was knowing the baby wasn't mine, because if it had been, I would have been tethered to Ruth forever. Instead, I walked away clean, free from someone I could never trust again. I've learned since then that peace doesn't come from trying to fix broken people. It comes from protecting your own spirit.